All right, today we're starting chapter 4, and we're going to be graphing equations in slope-intercept form, which really should, most of everything that we do today should be very familiar because it goes back to what we learned in chapter 8 of pre-algebra, and it's also stuff that we really have kind of been over several times already this year as well. We're really just going to stick with slope-intercept today and not look at any other forms. What is the slope-intercept form of an equation? Joaquin?
Y equals mx plus b.
That's exactly correct. Y equals mx plus b. What is m?
Slope.
M is the slope, and b is y-intercept. What does that mean? It's the y-intercept. Aiden?
It's where the line passes through the y-axis.
That's exactly right. The line of the equation will pass through the y-axis at that location signified by the value in place of the b. Okay, so the first slide here, all we're going to do is rewrite each of these linear equations in slope-intercept form. So I want the equation to look like y equals mx plus b. That means I need to solve the equation for y. So what would I do here first on this 3x plus 2y? Subtract 3x. So I would have 2y equals negative 3x plus 8.
You're good. No. You have to divide by 2.
To divide by 2, I can't have a 2y. That's not what the slope-intercept form looks like. I need to solve for y. I need y to be all by itself. So everything gets divided by 2. So y equals negative 3 over 2x, run out of room there, plus 4. So y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 4. That's the slope-intercept equation right there. Okay? All right, how about this next one? Negative 3x equals 4y minus 9.
Add 9.
Add 9 to both sides. Is it okay if I go ahead and rewrite it like this? 4y equals negative 3x plus 9. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. What's the last step?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. Write it over here. So y equals what? Negative 3 over 4x plus 9 over 4. Listen, I'm okay with improper fractions. I'm okay with mixed numbers. You can do 9 over 4. You can do 2 1/4. You can do 2.25. However you want to write that, that makes the best sense to you. I like improper fractions. I think they're the easiest because all you have to do is leave it just like it looks, 9 over 4. I'm fine with that, okay? All right, we've got a few steps on this one.
Add 3x. Yeah. Add 3x.
Well, I want to get y by itself, so let's
Minus
let's subtract 3x
and then add 6.
and add 6. That gets the term with the y in it all by itself. Okay, so we're going to have 2y equals
6x
negative 6x
plus 10.
plus 10. Divide by 2. So we would have y equals
Negative 3x plus 5.
negative 3x plus 5. I like it. Okay? And
Add 4.
add 4 to both sides.
Multiply by 2.
So you'd have 1/2 at y equals 3x plus 4.
Multiply by 2.
We need to get rid of the fraction, so we multiply by the denominator. So multiply by 2. It would be y equals 6x plus 8. Don't forget to distribute to all of the terms on the right side. Y equals 6x plus 8. Okay. That goes back to stuff we did back in chapter 2 when we were solving for specific variables in equations, and it gets it into the form that we should be most familiar with, slope-intercept. Okay? So you'll have to do some of that in your homework today. Let's look now at a few examples of graphing equations in slope-intercept form. This should be very familiar, but all we need to graph an equation is the y-intercept and the slope. So what is the y-intercept in this equation? -2, and the slope is 3/4. When you do these on today's assignment, please go ahead and identify the slope and the y-intercept. Write them out just like I've done. It doesn't take long, and it will help me to know that you know what's going on with this lesson. So the y-intercept is -2, so start at the origin, go down 2 on the y-axis. The line has to cross that point. And then we'll go up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a positive 3/4 slope, or we could go down 3 and left 4. That gives us the same slope. Don't forget to draw your line. Some of you on the test were putting points without drawing the line. We are not graphing points, we are graphing lines, since they are linear equations. Okay? Graph each equation by using slope-intercept form. I forgot to put a graph on this one. Whoops, sorry. It's easy for me, harder for you. So what do I need to do first? Minus 3x -4y equals -3x plus 12. Divide by -4. So we would have y equals, you have a -3 over a -4, so that's a positive 3/4 x. And then you have a plus 12 over a -4, so it's -3. So this, wow, it's real similar to our last equation. So the slope, or y-intercept, sorry, is -3, and the slope is 3/4. So down 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can't go, well, we could, I guess, be down here on the other side. Something like that. Okay? Let's graph this one. What do I need to do first? Subtract 2x. So -4y equals -2x minus 8. Divide -4. Y equals 2/4 simplifies to 1/2, and it's positive 1/2 x. Minus 8 over -4 is a plus 2. So the y-intercept is 2, and the slope is 1/2. Y-intercept is 2, and the slope is up 1/2. All right. Still need to solve for y. Let's add 2y to both sides. And not minus 2x. Add 2x to both sides. So that would be 5y equals 2x plus 10. Divide by 5. So y equals
2/5x.
2/5 x plus 2. So the y-intercept is 2 and the slope is 2/5. Y-intercept is 2, slope is up 2/5. Or down 2, left 5. All right. Next, we have this a new vocabulary term or new term for you to learn. It's called constant functions. Constant functions are special equations in which the slope is 0. So what happens to this equation if I put 0 in for the slope?
It's y equals b.
Y equals 0 times x plus b, right? So what's 0 times x? 0. And what's 0 plus b? B. So y equals b. All right. Yeah, why do you think this would be called a constant function? What's this word mean?
It's never gonna.
Harley,
Because, it goes from 0 and goes up the same way.
is this going to always go through 0?
Yeah,
No.
no, yeah. Yeah, because it's constant.
No, it's gonna
Because it's
always never
because
touch the.
it's always going to be the y-intercept.
Okay, Carly?
It's not gonna move.
It's not going to move. The constant function won't move.
Isn't it just going to be like a straight horizontal?
Horizontal line. How do you know it's horizontal?
It's just
Zero.
not undefined.
The slope is 0. If the slope is 0, then it's a horizontal line, right? So do all horizontal lines go through the origin?
No.
No. So it doesn't have to go through the origin. The word constant means what, as opposed to, say, variable? The same. What is a constant in any equation? In any equation, what is a constant?
Something that can't be.
Think
that
about what
doesn't-
Symbol.
think about what that value always is in this equation.
It's something
Zero.
that cannot be changed
Like-
by the x and y.
Okay, it's not changed by the x and y. X and y's
It's
are
always
what?
gonna be b. It's gonna be always the y-intercept.
It's always going to be the y-intercept. I'm looking for a specific word. So if we have this equation, y equals 3x plus 4,
It's always going to be independent.
it's always going to be,
It's always going to be the y-intercept.
what's
The
the,
last number.
it's always the last number.
In any.
It never has a variable attached to it, right? What do we call numbers that don't have variables attached to them?
Oh,
We call them constants. They have a constant value. It never changes, okay? 4 is always the same. It's always constant. -3 is always the same. It's always constant. So, and you guys were saying all the right things. It's going to be the y-intercept. The line's going to go through the y-intercept, and that's going to be the y value for all those. So, when you look at this, graph each constant function below. Y equals 4. So what's the y-intercept?
4.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it's always going to be up over.
And the slope is
Up over
0, which means it's a horizontal line. Oops, I didn't do a very good job there. Okay, so the horizontal line will be right there on the value where y equals 4. A little thicker line so you can see it better. All right. Oops. Boy, I butchered that one. All right. How about this one? 2y equals -6. Got to divide by 2 because we've got to have it where y is by itself. Whoops, divide by 2. So y equals -3. That means we've got a horizontal line where y is 3. Or where y is -3. Sorry, I misspoke. All right. So constant functions are going to be what kind of line always?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. All right, Tessa?
Those still like count as being in slope intercept
They do count as slope-intercept form. Yep, because the slope is 0. So if you were going to write this out, m is 0, b is 4 on this one. And over here, m is 0 and b is -3. Okay? So they are still slope-intercept form. They're just a special type of slope-intercept form where slope is 0. We had another, in last chapter, we had another special type of slope-intercept. Direct variation, where y equals kx. Kx. So in that case, it was plus 0, where and that's the kind of line where it always goes through the origin, right? So we've seen a couple of different types of special slope-intercept form equations. All right. We also can start with a line and write a slope-intercept equation. So what are the two things that we need to write a slope-intercept equation?
Slope and a y-intercept.
We need a y-intercept and we need a slope. So what is the y-intercept of this graph?
-1.
Y-intercept is -1, and the slope is
1/2.
up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. So the slope is 1/2, and with that information, we can write the equation. It's y equals 1/2 x minus 1. All right. So we need the same two pieces of information for this one's y-intercept and slope. Y-intercept is 2.
And the slope is -2.
3/2 -3/2.
Down, okay, so if we find the other spot here, so just count the slope, it's down 1, 2, 3, right 2. So down 3, right 2 is -3/2. So the equation is -3/2 x plus 2. Okay? All right. Last one, we've got more of a real world problem. You'll have a couple of word problems to work through. Booster Club is selling sandwiches for $5 each. They spend $1,160 on ingredients. That's a lot of bologna. Write an equation for the profit P made on N sandwiches. So we're going to have an equation that looks like P profit equals something with an N.
-5 and
-5N?
yes.
No,
Negative.
yeah, +5.
It would be -5 because for $5 each. They're selling them.
$11.60.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're trying to get
Selling.
find the profit.
You're gaining $5 for each sandwich. So that's a
I know.
+5.
Minus
the other person.
1,160.
5, you're gaining $5 per sandwich, so it's a 5 times the number of sandwiches.
-1.
Why minus?
Because you're spending that much.
Because you spent that much before you ever even made a sandwich.
That's taken away from the profit.
That's taking away from the profits. That's exactly right. We have to sell some number of sandwiches before we even make a profit, right? Because if we just pile all this stuff in a trash can and throw it out, we haven't made a profit, we've lost money. So we've got to sell some sandwiches first to make a profit. All right, so this is the equation. I like the equation. Good job. Now graph it. Holy smokes, people. All right,
I got this.
we're going to count this by
200.
200. So 200, 400,
Jesus.
600, okay, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400. All right. We also need to count down though by 200s. How come I have to go down by 200s?
Because they have a negative profit.
Because I start with a y-intercept of what?
Negative.
-1160. So 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, and then the bottom one would be 1,400. So 1160 is my y-intercept. I couldn't think of the word. 1160 would be about, I'm going to graph this in red. Red shows up a little better on the black graph. So about right there, really, probably, right?
You guys sell a lot of sandwiches.
You got to sell a lot of sandwiches to get back up to 0. Okay? So if this is going up by $5 per sandwich, and I've graphed this one by two hundreds. I probably can't graph this by ones, can I? Because I don't want to go up one sandwich at a time. All right,
20s?
By tens.
By 100.
Go by tens.
tens. So 10 sandwiches will go up 50 at a time. That's still gonna be a real shallow graph. I think maybe
40
500.
That's good.
40.
hundreds. I think would be
I went by 10 sandwiches.
About 40s.
40s.
Hundreds go
By
off the
40s?
graph.
Because.
Hundreds go off the
Wait.
graph way too fast.
Because.
Goes off the graph too fast. It goes up too fast.
Yeah, so about 50.
Okay.
40s would be even,
40 gets
but
0.
50s. 40 gets you to 0.
Well, like,
yeah.
Well,
if you go past,
but it goes up by
if you go by tens.
200s, which is going to be easy to count. All right, let's go up by 40s. 70 times 40 is 80. I don't know if that gets us up fast enough.
But,
Does 40 get us up there fast enough?
yeah, it'll get us off the
It's
graph.
like so many.
This is, I'm telling you, you gotta have these thoughts when you're numbering your graph, don't you? I really don't even know. Let me see what they did in the book real quick. Lesson 4.1. They go up by, well, they go up by hundreds. Hundreds is gonna be good. Hundreds. So this is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. All right? So if we go up every 100 sandwiches we sell, how far does it go up on the graph?
500.
500 on the graph. So 1160 is where we're starting, and we go over 1 up 500. So that would be
Above 600.
760.
760.
660.
660 is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
1160 minus 500 is 660. So there's 600, 660 would be about right there. 200, we lose another 500, so that's 160. Which if that's 200, 160 would be about right there. And then up another 100 sandwiches gets us to, nah, you're gonna have to flip it. It's going to positive now. I think it's gonna be 340, isn't it?
No, it'll still be 60 because you can't.
Yeah.
Did I do it backwards?
It has to be 360.
It should
But you're at negative 160 is where we're at, right?
Yeah, it's 460 now.
Plus 500.
460.
Now you're all overthinking it. 500 minus 160 is 340.
Wait. No, it's 1,000.
What? 1,000.
We're all.
We're at 160. It's going to be 340. 340.
Mr. Fish, you know in your graph it says 200, 4, 6, 8, 1400.
Yes. That makes it easier.
2, 4, 6. Yeah, 200, 400, 600, 800, and this negatives. Then negative 1,000, negative 1,200, negative 1,400. So that's 340. Then it gets easier. 840. There's 800, 840.
1340.
Then 1340. All right. Whew, man, that was tough. You guys stuck with it. Thank you. Didn't give up on me.
We all have to make sandwiches.
All right. Find the profit if 400 sandwiches or 1,400 sandwiches are sold. What do we do here?
Just 14,000 in for.
5 times 1,400 minus 1160. Anybody work that out yet?
I didn't do mine.
1400 times 5 is 7,000.
So P equals 7,000 minus 1160.
5,840.
So that is 5,840. $5,840.
Drop
That seems like a tough way to make $5,000.
I don't
Making that
think
many
they
sandwiches.
run out of sandwiches.
All right.
Wait, what's that number? Put that 5 times
minus 11, that's 7,000 minus 1160. So equals 5,840. All right. Here's your assignment.